We will begin with the lesson 2 here. I will be reading the lesson line by line and then explaining it. I have added a lot of pictures for better understanding. Near the borders of France and Italy, on the shore of the Mediterranean Sea, lies a tiny little kingdom called Monaco. Many a small country town can boast more inhabitants than this kingdom, for there are only about 7,000 of them all told. So as you can see in the picture, near the borders of France and Italy, there is a small star symbol that is the Monaco kingdom. It is also called as a toy kingdom or a tiny kingdom. So, many other countries can boast of having more people in their kingdom or in their vicinity because in this tiny little kingdom, they only lived 7,000 people. And if all the land in the kingdom were divided, there would not be an acre for each inhabitant. So, if the entire land of this Monaco kingdom were divided to all the people, all the 7,000 people, one person couldn't even get 1 acre of land. It was such a tiny kingdom. But in this toy kingdom, there is a real kinglet, and he has a palace, courtiers and ministers, and a bishop, and general, and an army. So, though this is a very small kingdom, looks like a toy kingdom, this kingdom had a king for it. This king had his own palace. He had his ministers, courtiers, bishops, generals. He also had an army. It is not a very large army, only 60 men in all, but still it is an army. There are also taxes in this kingdom, as elsewhere, a tax on tobacco and on wine and spirits, and a poll tax. So, in this tiny little kingdom, there was an army consisting of only 60 men. And like in any other kingdom, unlike how we pay taxes to the government, even in this kingdom, people had to pay taxes. So, there were taxes on the products. Uh, like tobacco, on wine, on spirits. So on these three products, the taxes were applied. There was something called as poll tax. Now, what is this poll tax? A tax which is levied or applied on an adult without reference to his or her income. So whether the person is earning or not earning, whether he's a male or a female, if he is an adult, above 18 years, he had to pay certain taxes to the government. But though people there drink and smoke as people do in other countries, there are so few of them that the prince would have been hard to put up to feed his courtiers and officials and to keep himself if he had not found a new and special source of revenue. So, like in any other place, how people drink and smoke, here also people were into drinking and smoking. But since they were only few in number, 7,000 of them. This king couldn't really expect a lot of income out of people paying taxes for tobacco, wine, or spirits. So now the prince here thinks about finding a new revenue, meaning a new source of making money, new source of income. He wants to find a new source of making revenue and income where he can feed himself and also his courtiers and ministers. So, this special revenue comes from a gaming house where people play a game called as roulette. So, as you can see here, even in the picture, there is a picture of a gaming house next to poll tax, and next to the gaming house, you have the picture of the roulette. So, that is how they play the game. That is the game which they play. This gaming house is also called as a gambling place. So here, the special revenue comes from the gaming house where people play roulette. People play, and whether they win or lose, the keeper, meaning to say the gamekeeper, always gets a percentage on the turnover. And out of his profits, he pays a large sum to the prince. So this is how the prince used to make a lot of money through this gaming house. The reason he pays so much is that it is the only such gambling establishment left in Europe. Now, in the whole of Europe, this was the only tiny little kingdom of Monaco which had established such kind of gaming house or a gambling place. So it was never established such a kind of a gaming place in elsewhere in Europe. It was only in the Monaco kingdom. Some of the little German sovereigns used to keep gaming houses of the same kind, but some years ago they were forbidden to do so. So the German sovereigns also had a similar kind of game houses few years ago, but now they have completely stopped it. They have forbidden and abandoned it. So there must be a reason for that, isn't it? So the reason here why they stopped was because these gaming houses did so much harm. A man would come and try his luck, and then he would risk all he had and lose it. Then he would even risk money that did not belong to him and lose that too. And then in despair, he would drown or shoot himself. So people used to come here, try their luck, whether they, you know, win or lose. The gamekeeper or and the prince is really not affected, because even before entering the gaming house they had to pay a certain amount to the gamekeeper, and the gamekeeper used to later on give this to the king. But what would happen to the people who come here? They are not only risking their money, sometimes they used to borrow money which from someone which never belonged to them, and they used to come here, play, try their luck. If they lose, they would be very disheartened, they would be disappointed, and they would probably commit suicide, shoot themselves, or drown themselves. So the Germans forbidden their rules to make money in such a way. So the Germans thought it was not the right way to make money by risking people's life into such kind of a gamble. So that is why they stopped it. But there was no one to stop the Prince of Monaco, as he remained with the monopoly of the business. The German sovereigns, at least they thought of the welfare of people and they stopped it. But in this tiny little kingdom of Monaco, there were nobody who could stop the king, because it he was a king of monopoly, meaning he was a single position person who directs all the rules. It was just like a one man show. No one could stop him. There was no authorities above the king. Whatever the king says, that is the final decision. So that is the monopoly. So now everyone who wants to gamble goes to Monaco. Why they go to Monaco? Because in the whole of Europe, only Monaco has established such gaming house. Whether they win or lose, the prince gains by it. You can't earn stone palaces by honest labor. The prince believed that you cannot earn money, stone palaces, by honest labor, meaning you cannot earn money by good deeds, by honestly working for it. So, as the proverb says, the kinglet of Monaco knows it's a dirty business. So, here the king realizes that it is not a right thing to put so much of taxes on tobacco, spirits, and on wine, and it is not the right thing to put poll tax. It is not good to earn money from the gaming houses. Though he knows this is a dirty business, he still continues to make money this way. But what is he to do with it? He has to live, and to draw a revenue from drink and from tobacco is all not a nice thing. So he lives and reigns and ranks in the money and holds his court with all the ceremony of a real king. So here the king is really not bothered about his people. He's just bothered about making money, though he knows that he is making a lot of money through wrong ways. He believes that you cannot earn stone palaces by honest labor. He believes that there should be a dishonest way to make lots of money. He has is a coronation. So coronation is the ceremony of crowning to become a king. So he has his own coronation. and he gets his rewards, sentences, and pardons, and he also has his revenues, councils, laws, and courts of justice, just like any other kings, but all on a very small scale. So this king enjoys all the riches to be a king, just like any other king does in a big kingdom, but everything is on a small scale. And this king is also very greedy and not concerned about his people. He's greedy of just making money.